Alright, here's a quick look at what my tomato bed looks like at the end of August. There's a lot of color. I'm really happy with the production. I got these plants in later than I could have planted them, but I did grow all of these plants myself and transplant them, except for one, which was a volunteer. And here you have a good look at a hole, which I'm guessing is from a gopher. And here's a good look at my attempt to grow corn, which has struggled with the stress of gophers and turkeys. I thought I was going to have the squash climb up this little trellis, but they're not growing that fast. In other news, I have a giant pumpkin plant growing out of the compost. Huge leaves. It's gotta be pumpkin, right? We'll see. As you can see, these huge vines are dominating this compost bin, growing over the walls and taking every advantage it can, and I hope it makes lots of amazing pumpkins. Here's a look at the other tomato bed that I have, tomato bed number 2. This was the bed that I planted all of the extra tomato plants that I had. I planted them kind of late as they were stunted, but they really blew up under the right conditions. But I also didn't have time to prune them, so they are much more leafier than they are fruitier. Here's my mixed greens bed. The lettuce has gone to seed, as you can see. And I also removed the kale, or the mustard, and the bok choy that went to seed as well. Cleared it out a little bit because there's still Brussels sprouts on the side, so I want them to continue to get resources so I can get some Brussels sprouts. And the kale looks beautiful, despite if you just ignore like the blah blah blah, like they were smothered, but oh gosh, they're so beautiful. Of course the aphids are in and around, but some of it's still really yummy. I cleaned up the dead snap peas and kind of cleared it out a little bit so that the carrots can continue to get its needs met, because I'm still growing the carrots. Hello. Oh, you're bigger than I thought. Ooh. Well, doesn't that look nice? Yeah, so this whole grape catastrophe all the way down here, that's my landlord's. He just doesn't have time to like take care of everything, and he's been gone for like 3 weeks in Sweden. Yeah, I cleaned up this area a little bit. I pruned some back so that the grapes could get some sunlight because they need that for ripening. So I worked on that for hours, and there's blackberries on the other side of the fence and they're coming over, so I had to clear those out too. So there's a lot of work that went into this, and I only went from like there to there. There's still the rest of it down there, and there's more on the other side of the property. Here's what the little corn patch looks like. Pretty wrecked. There's some squash growing. And there's some more squash over here. And somewhere in there is a ground cherry. There it is. Yum! Little ground cherry. I've pruned that thing, but man, it took off. That pumpkin. Wow, that pumpkin. I'm gonna have to prune it a little bit more. I wonder what you're gonna make for us. I hope your gardens are doing well, and I'll see you next time. Live long and prosper.